Welcome everyone. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through a small OCR app that I vibe coded and deployed on GitHub. So an OCR is an optical character recognition tool. Here's what this does. I was reading this article the other day and I found this quote from Twitter, and unfortunately this is an image and I wanted to just copy the text and paste it on some text file. Now unfortunately this is an image, so I just wanted to right click, copy image, then go over here, click, press Ctrl V to paste the image. The image is displayed here. Then I can select this area, I can run an OCR, I can get the text out of the image, and then I can click copy text and go into a text editor and paste it. So this is what I'm going to show you. Let's start from the beginning. I went ahead and asked ChatGPT to create an HTML JavaScript page that allows the user to paste image data into a box, copy it by right-clicking on an image in another tab, and then display that image in an image or a canvas element. So that was like the first step, the first version. ChatGPT came up with this code. This is a single HTML file, so I can copy and I can test it by opening up a new tab and then typing pen.new to open a new code pen for me to test this. I open up this code pen tab, pasted the code, and I had this first version of my app. I went ahead to this page, right click, copy image, then click Ctrl V or Command V. There you go. So that was okay, but I also wanted to do an OCR. So the next version, I went ahead and asked ChatGPT to modify the code. Now have a button, load and run Tesseract.js via CDN. I will tell you a little more about what these are, and do an OCR on that image and display it in another HTML text area element that the user can click, copy icon and grab it. So Tesseract.js is a JavaScript library for doing OCR, for doing optical character recognition, that is reading some text from an image and then giving you back the raw text. I knew about this Tesseract.js library, so this is why I instructed ChatGPT to use this library. CDN, or Content Delivery Network, is just a nice way to load this library by using a simple script tag. So as you can see here, this library, this Tesseract library, is available as a CDN package and as a minified JavaScript file. So that was easy for me to integrate into a single page application and load this really fast. So that was the second version. So let's see version number 2. I go here and now let's see what happens. Okay, as you can see here, there's the image area, but also there's this text area and this run OCR. Let's see if this works. So once again, copy image, click Ctrl V, and then I can run OCR here. And you can see that now it starts to giving me some really weird results. The reason is because Tesseract OCR, the JavaScript library, does a really good job when the background is clean, when the text is kind of like on a white background or maybe on a solid color. But when there are images, there are special characters or emojis in this case, as you can see, it kind of like confuses a little bit of the characters and doesn't do a really good job. So you can either go here and remove some of these characters. The text I think is okay. And then also this one looks okay. As you can see, it skipped like the emojis and it translated them into like numbers. So that's good, but right now I wanted to be able to define the area that I wanted to run the OCR on. So instead of running the optical character recognition on the whole image, I wanted to select a particular area using a drawing rectangle and then run an OCR on that. So that was the next version. So I went ahead and I said to ChatGPT, okay, now one more thing, allow the user to draw a rectangle around the image displayed. after it was copied, so that the OCR can be selectively done on a specific area of the image. There should be a run OCR button to run OCR on the whole image, so I want to keep this feature, or the user can draw and then select run OCR on the selection. And ChatGPT gave me this new version. So let me copy and replace and see what we get here. Okay, once again, right click, copy image, click Control V, and now I can select an area and I can run OCR on that selection, which is pretty good, or I can run OCR on the full image and still get the same results. And now it's also really nice because ChatGPT gave me the capability of redrawing a rectangle. So if I don't like this first selection, I can just click and I can start drawing another rectangle, which is pretty cool. So now I can select this text, I can run OCR selection, OCR on selection, and I get the text, and the OCR works pretty well. So that's the next version. And then I went to ChatGPT and I wanted to add a few more features. So the reason why I went to this next version, to this next iteration, was because when I tried to use like a really large image like this one, so if I copy this image, which is really large, and go into my app and Control V, you will see the image like overflows. So I wanted this image to become just wide enough to fit in this page. Now initially what I did is I went to the HTML, I found like the canvas element, and then I gave it some styling like width 100%, and then that kind of worked. Now the problem was that this is not enough just to apply CSS. You can see that right now I'm trying to draw a rectangle and it doesn't work because the JavaScript that is running this rectangle, this red rectangle that allow me to select the text, is working on the real dimensions of the image. And in this case, the canvas, it's kind of like squeezing the image to fit the width of the containing element. So this requires some JavaScript along with the CSS. That's why I went ahead to ChatGPT and asked it to make sure that the canvas has a width of 100% so that it does not overflow the screen, and make sure that the drawing rectangle selector works accordingly. So let's see. I will paste it here, and I will once again copy this huge image. And now it's nice. It's by default like reducing the size to fit the container width, and I can also work on a particular area. And I can run OCR selection, but in this case you will see that Tesseract OCR does miss a few things. So it misses the chance. So when there's a background image or some kind of like underlying background artifacts that make the OCR kind of like a little bit more difficult to give you back the text, you can see that the Tesseract is missing the chance. Now, if I select this area, you will see that it does a really good job. It can kind of like recognize the word. In here, it also works in a pretty good manner, but if I select all of this, for some reason, the algorithm doesn't work good enough to select. So keep this in mind. Tesseract is not perfect, and it doesn't work very well with images that contain a lot of background noise, like image stuff. Okay, that was my next version. Then I went ahead and asked ChatGPT to add one more feature. So I wanted to be able to load an image from a URL. So instead of just copying an image and then pasting on the input box, I wanted ChatGPT to add an input element that accepts the URL of an image and tries to dynamically load the image to the canvas to be OCR'd. I also instructed ChatGPT to display a red alert if there's a coarse issue while trying to fetch the image and display it on the canvas. The coarse issue, the cross-origin request, system security is happening sometimes when you try to load an image or a resource from another domain. You can find more details about what a course is and when it happens and how it happens and how you can overcome this in the description below. But for now, since I know there's this course issue that might happen, I instructed ChatGPT to give me some kind of like an indication if this doesn't work and if this issue happens. So let's see how this works. And now you can see there's this input tag where I can copy paste an image URL. So instead of copying the image, I can like go here. Let me open this image, and then I will try to copy the image URL. So let me go here, paste it. Now in here, ChatGPT didn't do a really good job. I cannot see the rest of the placeholder, so I have to go into this input element, and it's somewhere here. So I need to give it like a little bit extra width. So let's say 500 pixel. Okay, so now I can see the full placeholder. Maybe add a little bit of padding, and I have to paste the URL and press enter, and you will see that I get this course issue. So this domain, I'm on the codepen.io domain, is not able to load dynamically this image from another domain. The thing like a git.net domain is actually blocking this cross-origin request. It says, you're trying to request an image from another domain. I'm not going to allow you to load this. So that's something that I need to figure out and see how I can like OCR this image using a different method, because loading this image through a URL doesn't work. Now, in this case, if you want to try out a URL that doesn't block you, doesn't have this course issue, you can go to the Wiki Commons, to the Wikimedia Commons, which actually has a lot of images that are like are under this common license, and most of the time they do not block you. They do not have this course issue happening. So I found a quote in English, an image with some text in English just to test it. So I can right click the image link address, or I can open this image in a new tab and just grab the URL, and I paste it here, I press enter, and this gets the image loaded through the URL, because this specific domain doesn't block this cross-origin request, which is nice. Now this is an image that has a lot of artifacts, like there's a background image, there's some logos, there are different colors, a very particularly like difficult font family. So it will not do a really good job on this text, but I tried and it did a really good job on OCRing or recognizing this text. So as you can see, a 3 weeks editathon to train people how to create entries on females in Nigeria on the English Wikicode. So pretty nice, I would say. So that's a really nice feature for me, like to be able to try a URL. And if that URL doesn't work, I would like to download the image and be able to drag and drop it here. So that's another option that I wanted to try out. So I went ahead to ChatGPT, and for the next version, I said, one last thing, add the capability for the user to be able to drag and drop an image file directly into the based box. So apart from just copying the contents through a Control-C and then Control-V, I can also download the image or have it have a local image dropped onto the box. So let's see now this new feature. As you can see, the drawing box says click here, press Control-V, or drag and drop an image. So I have this image here, so I'm going to drop it right here. As you can see, drag and drop works. I can see the image. I can select one or more lines. So let's see if this works. Strangely named draft. Yeah, so it works. Nice. I can use the URL. I can use a drag and drop the image. I can copy and paste the image data. So that's really nice for me. I can stop here. Also, copy text also still works. So Control V works. That's nice. Next, I went ahead and decided to have a little bit more fun with ChatGPT and this code. And I decided to let ChatGPT give me a nicer UI. So I decided to ask ChatGPT to give me a UI that has an awesome neuromorphic look and style. You will see what this neuromorphic look and feel looks like. So this is just the UI enhancement, and let's see how it looks. So this gives this nice neuromorphic look. Once again, I can test the functionality and then see whether this works. Now for this one, you will see that there is this cutoff over here, so there is this padding on this element that kind of cuts off the part of the image, but let's see. So the OCR works, but I wanted to fix this, extra padding here. I had to find the drawing board, which is this, I believe this canvas container, and I think there's a CSS somewhere here. Okay, and this is the canvas container. So this box is the canvas container that contains the canvas that displays the image. And for some reason, it has this padding that seems ugly when an image is displayed. So I looked over it and I decided to reset the padding to 0. So when I Control V, this fits perfectly in the container, in the canvas container. So there's no cutoff. So that was great. I was ready to move forward and deploy my app. So as you can see, this is the last part of the code. The next thing was for me to actually deploy this on GitHub using GitHub Pages. So I'm going to grab the code. So I went ahead, I went to GitHub, I created a new repository. Let me put, let's say, online tools. So cool free online web tools. I'm going to make this public. I'm going to add a README file just to start this repository. So I'm going to create a new GitHub repository, and I'm going to create 2 files. So one of them would be like an index HTML that will lead to another page, which is going to be the OCR tool. So this is going to be the home page. That's online tools for fun and profit. And I'm going to commit. Let me have Copilot give me a commit message. And now I want to turn this GitHub repository into a GitHub page. So I want this to get deployed and people actually visiting this as a website. So for this, I have to go to the settings. I have to go to pages on GitHub. And then I will select the branch from which I want to deploy. There's only one branch at this point, main, so I'm going to click and save. And now GitHub Pages is going to start creating a website. Now this usually takes a few minutes. You can go here into the actions and wait for the build and deployment to finish. In my case, while this is building, I'm going to go here and add the OCR page because this is the home page. To create a new file, OCR.html, I'm going to copy and commit, and now once these new changes are up there, you can see there's a new build and deployment process starting because there's a new version. So I'm going to wait for the GitHub build and deploy process to finish, and then if when it finishes and I go to settings and pages, you will see there's going to be a new website page that I can visit. So this is the previous version that was built. So if I click this, you can see that the page is built. This is the landing page and this OCR. But now there's a 404 because that was the first step. I created the homepage without creating the OCR. So right now, GitHub is actually building the latest version, which includes the OCR.html. I can check the progress through this panel. You can see here it's in the deployment progress process phase. So let's wait. Okay, so we're ready. You can see the built-in deployment is ready. I can directly click the link and go into the page. I believe it's this one. So the OCR is here. Let us check whether this works. Let me close this one. So Control V first, and then we need to fix the padding issue. And I can go here. I can run the OCR, which works. Okay, let me try the Wikimedia image through a URL to see that it works. Press enter, it works. Let's select this one and run the OCR. Perfect, it works even better. And then we have the drag and drop. So let me go here and drag and drop an image. And then select the first sentence for now. Run the OCR or run the full OCR. Okay, it's still missing the chance as you can see here. So I can copy the text, go here, Control V. So everything works. The last thing I need to do here is, of course, to share the URL with my community. And of course, I can go ahead in here and directly change some files. For example, I can go into the OCR, edit this file, and remove the padding from the canvas container, just as I did during the CodePen session. So let's commit. And this fix will be ready in just a few seconds. You can see here the new version is being built and deployed, and in a few seconds I will be able to see the new version, which is going to have this padding here removed. So that's what is it for today. I hope you enjoy it. You can go straight ahead to ChatGPT, come up with an idea, vibe code it, and then use GitHub Pages to deploy and test your app. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and let me know what you think. Bye-bye.